Let's go Broncos! Something big is happening in Broncos country, rumors, roster changes, and a masterstroke that could change everything for Denver in 2026. I just uncovered some inside details that may explain exactly what went wrong in our Super Bowl run and, more importantly, what needs to happen if we want to lift the Lombardi Trophy next February. This isn't just preseason talk, it's a roadmap to redemption, and it starts right now. But before I reveal the key names being discussed behind closed doors, including a Super Bowl MVP who could be wearing orange and blue next season, don't forget to like if you believe the Broncos are just one or two pieces away from greatness. And if you're the kind of fan who's with the team through thick and thin, leave a comment below. Go Broncos! 2026 is our revenge tour. Without further ado, let's get straight to the news. Here's the situation. ESPN just dropped their way too early 2026 power rankings right after the Super Bowl ended, and Broncos country, you're going to want to hear this. The Seattle Seahawks, fresh off their championship, were ranked number 1. The Patriots, despite showing their true colors in the postseason, landed at number 2. Third went to the Rams. But guess who came in at number 4? That's right, your Denver Broncos. And what did ESPN have to say about us? Just 3 little words: find some pop. No, not soda, we're talking explosive playmakers. ESPN's message is loud and clear. Denver needs to make a splash. A real splash. Not the mid-tier, maybe they'll develop kind of signing. We're talking game-changer level. Jeff Legwold, writing for ESPN, laid it out plainly. When Denver reflects on the 2025 season, there's no way around the fact that our offense came up short. Despite Bo Nix under center, the Broncos ranked 14th in scoring and struggled to generate explosive plays. We were 29th in 3-and-outs and 15th in plays of 20-plus yards. Let me put that in perspective. The other 3 teams that made it to the conference championship games were ranked 1st, 2nd, and 4th in explosive plays. That's the level we have to reach if we're serious about contending. And don't forget this, J.K. Dobbins, who didn't play after November 6th, still led the team in explosive runs. That says a lot about the current state of our backfield and what needs to change. The good news? We've got cap space, projected between $28 and $30 million. With Ross's contract off the books, the Broncos are primed to pursue a top-tier free agent in a way we haven't been able to in years. Last year, the free agency moves had promised Draymond Jones, nicknamed Drelaw, Talanoa Hufanga, Evan Engram. Solid players, but none of them were true headline stealers. This year, that could change. The 2026 free agency class is stacked with playmakers who could immediately elevate this offense. Some of the names floating around include Breece Hall, Alec Pierce, Travis Etienne, and George Pickens. And oh boy, let's talk about Pickens. Broncos fans have been buzzing about George Pickens, especially because of his off-field connection with Cortland Sutton. But things took a turn when news broke that the Dallas Cowboys are expected to place the franchise tag on him. Now, this doesn't mean the door is closed. It could be a tag-and-trade situation or even a bluff, but it does complicate things. Ian Rappaport reported that a trade before free agency is possible, though timing will be key, especially with Pickens dealing with a minor meniscus repair. Still, if the Cowboys are listening to offers, George Pickens could be that splash the Broncos are looking for. It's not out of the question, but the window may be narrower than fans hoped. Now let's shift gears to perhaps the most interesting name of the offseason, Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. The man who tore through the postseason with the most scrimmage yards over a 3-game playoff span in the past 25 years. 27 carries, 135 yards in the big game alone. And he's a free agent. That's right, no deal in place yet with the Seahawks. A lot of people believe there's no way Seattle lets him go, but Walker himself said, "It's not my decision." He made it clear he wants to stay in Seattle, but that choice is up to the front office, and we all know how frugal teams can be when it comes to paying running backs. Broncos legend Philip Lindsay already weighed in, calling on the team to pursue Kenneth Walker. That should tell you everything you need to know. When a former running back who understands the DNA of this franchise is ringing the bell for a specific player, it's time to pay attention. Kenneth Walker brings elite burst, breakaway speed, and big game pedigree. Sure, he's not the best in pass protection or route running, but the Broncos have options to offset those weaknesses. R.J. Harvey can provide versatility, and chipping with a tight end or fullback can help in protection schemes. This could be a match made in heaven, and considering Denver's current RB depth chart, it might just be a necessity. J.K. Dobbins is an unrestricted free agent and a major question mark. R.J. Harvey is penciled in at RB2 but hasn't proven to be a reliable between-the-tackles threat yet. On top of that, we've got 3 other RBs hitting free agency, Jaleel as a restricted free agent and Tyler Batty as an early rights FA. It's clear the running back room is in flux, and that opens the door wide for a dynamic addition like Kenneth Walker. Because if you're asking me, the move for Kenneth Walker makes almost too much sense. We're talking about a Super Bowl MVP in the prime of his career, who just had one of the most impressive playoff stretches we've seen from a running back in decades. Over 150 yards from scrimmage in the Super Bowl alone. He didn't even find the end zone in that game and still walked away with MVP honors. Think about how dominant you have to be to earn that in a low-scoring game. And now he's potentially available. not locked down. No long-term extension. Walker said the decision isn't up to him, which means if Seattle decides to pass on paying big money for a running back, and history shows that's a real possibility, he becomes one of the biggest names on the market, and Denver is in the perfect position to strike. We already know the Broncos are expected to be aggressive. The three-word command from ESPN, find some pop, wasn't just a casual suggestion. It was a directive, an acknowledgement that we're on the edge of greatness, but we're missing that offensive spark to get over the hump. Look back at the AFC Championship game. Losing Bo Nix was devastating. But even before that, the offense lacked the firepower to hang with elite teams deep into the playoffs. We were 14th in scoring. 14th. You can't expect to win big games when you're sitting in the middle of the pack offensively, especially when the teams you're trying to surpass are top 4 in explosive plays. Here's where it all comes together. Kenneth Walker could give this team a completely new identity on offense. His ability to break off chunk plays would instantly lift Denver out of that 15th place dead zone in big yardage snaps. His presence would force defenses to stack the box, opening things up for our receivers. And don't forget, this is an offense that already has weapons. What it needs is someone to take the pressure off. Someone who, even if the play breaks down, can still make something happen out of nothing. That's Kenneth Walker. Now let's pivot back to the George Pickens conversation, because it's far from over. The Cowboys tagging him doesn't mean he's staying in Dallas forever. It could be leverage, it could be a short-term rental, or it could be the setup for a tag and trade. That last option is where Denver could strike gold. Pickens has undeniable chemistry with Courtland Sutton. Off the field, they're close. On the field, that potential pairing could be dangerous. Sutton drawing the double team, Pickens torching single coverage on the opposite side. It's a matchup nightmare for opposing defenses. But it all comes down to compensation. What would Dallas want in return? That's the million-dollar question. Denver holds draft capital, they have cap flexibility, and they have a front office that knows it's time to go all in. No more half measures. No more bargain bin shopping in free agency. If the Broncos are going to make it back to the Super Bowl, it's going to take bold moves and calculated risks. And with the window wide open now, top 5 power ranking, young quarterback, and a strong defensive core, it's now or never. I know some of you are thinking, well, what about the draft? And that's fair. There's talent coming into the league, especially at wide receiver and running back. But draft picks come with uncertainty. There's no guarantee that a rookie will step in and contribute at a high level from day one. With Kenneth Walker and George Pickens, you already know what you're getting: explosive, proven, battle-tested playmakers. And remember, we're not just replacing guys. We're building an arsenal. J.K. Dobbins is likely gone. That alone creates a massive void. If Denver stands pat and hopes that a mid-round rookie or developmental back can step up, we're playing with fire. We saw how that turned out last year. If Dobbins couldn't stay healthy and the next guy up wasn't ready, we were stuck in neutral. That's how you end up ranking 29th in 3 and outs. That can't happen again. This offseason has the potential to be the most pivotal in recent Broncos history. The moves made, or not made, could determine whether this team gets back to the AFC Championship and beyond, or whether we're watching another Super Bowl from the couch. The roster is close. The foundation is solid. The question is, will George Payton and the front office push their chips to the middle of the table? It's going to be a wild ride, Broncos country. The next few months are going to be filled with rumors, negotiations, trade talks, and unexpected twists. But one thing is for sure, this team isn't sitting still. They're ready to strike. They're ready to find that pop ESPN was talking about. And if they hit the right targets, the rest of the NFL better be ready, because the Broncos are coming. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you're subscribed for more exclusive Broncos coverage every week. Hit that like button if you believe in this team's future, and let me know in the comments, should Denver go all in on Kenneth Walker, George Pickens, or both? Video recommendations on your screen now. Tap in and stay locked.